They're trying to find anything that hate on me. And you know what? PETA probably does hate me because I do butcher animals in facility and all of that. But I'm disappointed in PETA. You know why? Because they used to stand by their shit, bro. They used to actually give a fuck. And PETA, dude, they're slacking. I wish that PETA would put more pressure on these animals. I wish they actually cared about animals. PETA did. I really do. And this is what made me think of this, Jesse. I don't know if you've seen this in the news recently, but it's getting brought to our attention what all our government's been spending money on. And there was an experiment with beagles. Did you see that one?
I mean, I saw that a couple of years ago. You're talking about where they would lock their heads down and let the flies eat their face.
Yes, and there are people in our government doing that.
Anybody that was involved in that particular one is just pure evil. Isn't even like a descriptor. That's like, how could you think about the person who had to physically put the dog in that thing and then lock it down? Like someone had to do that, like physically, not just like one of these people that's writing a check. Someone had to actually take the dog, lock them in there, knowing that they're going to let these flies eat their faces. Like who takes that job?
Yeah, and my first instinct, Jesse, is to go kill somebody that does that to a dog. I mean, seriously. And I mean, seriously, say I'm in the room and they're locking the dogs in the cage and putting the flies on their face. And it's the scientist and me in the room. And it's just me and the scientist. There's no cameras. There's no nothing. And I'm seeing them torture a dog like that. It would literally take Jesus coming down and saying, Bryce, do not kill them. Let them live.
Don't lock their face in the next one.
Yeah. You know? I mean, they literally deserve to be killed. These people that torture these animals. I'm about as big of an animal lover as you can get. I just so happen to eat some of them. But before I eat them, bro, I'd give these animals a great life. My animals, they're not hungry. They're not thirsty. Mm-hmm. They're very well took care of. But, yeah, dude, I saw those animals getting abused and I thought, dude, where the fuck is PETA at, dude? Where
was PETA at on that? Actually, they didn't say anything about that.
They used to be a formidable force, dude. They've really bitched out here lately. And it's just, PETA's not going to save us. I used to think that they might actually be able to. No, they're not.
So I'm literally looking up, I can't remember. I'm trying to, okay. So the Beagle experiment,
Fauci was in charge of.
That's how I found it. Fauci Beagle experience. And then then PETA. Let's see if anything comes up. PETA. Oh, wait. Beagle testing lab. Oh, here we go. PETA. At least they got a website on it, or they got a web here. Check this out. They got something on it. So PETA says, Beagle testing lab for 6 months. PETA undercover beagles were force fed Oxycontin. Okay, so this is something different, but force fed, like who?
That's
who's paying for that, dude? They're like, hey guys, what's really important is let's get a canine addicted to oxycodone and then see what happens when whatever.
Right. And let's let these flies eat their face and see what happens. And let me tell you, Jesse, it's as simple as this is animal sacrifice is what's going on. These people, bro, they're demonic. And anytime they're torturing animals like that, this is straight up evil, bro. This is evil that we're dealing with people being sacrificed, animals being sacrificed to demonic entities, to the devil.
What did they even say that they were doing? Like, what was the story of what they were doing?
They're studying what the flies do, this or that. But brother, I don't care what they say. They're sacrificing animals to the devil, and that's a ritualistic sacrifice. I didn't used to believe in all of that until I gave my life to Christ. But I mean, that's what the demonic people do. They think that they're going to gain favor by torturing animals, by torturing people. It's sick, bro. But that's literally what we're living in. That's what we're dealing with. And we started talking about animal cruelty, and that's the first thing that popped up in my brain.
Man, I'm looking at it right now, and it's like, and they're calling the dogs discarded dogs. So they were dogs that were at shelters. And so I guarantee in their brain, they're like, oh, they're going to put these dogs down anyway. May as well let flies eat their face so that whatever.
Yeah.
Damn, dude, one was 2 years old. What, four were foxhounds were being a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 6-year-old, 10-year-old, and then like, man, this is unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Yeah, that's been heavy on my heart lately, stuff like that. But we're finding out all of this stuff, all the truth is coming to light, just like Cat Williams said. He said,
all lies will be exposed.
All lies will be exposed, bro. Cat Williams wasn't playing.
It's so crazy. It's so like that interview happened at the exact right time, because it's like he said all this stuff. If you would have played that interview for people in 2010 and then the news in 2010 and 2011 would have played out, people would have been like, that guy is absolutely batshit. And instead, they did it in 2024, and it was like, this guy's psychic. You know what I mean? It's like everything he said ended up being true.
Yeah, God's
I mean,
time.
for the most part. I'm not sure if I believe he's read 28,000 books or whatever he said, but like, but a lot of that stuff, I mean, he called Diddy before Diddy happened.
Yeah, exactly, bro. There might have been a touch of what do you call it when you elaborate, embellish a little bit. Mm-hmm. He might have embellished a little bit on his own ability to read books.
Yeah, just a little, yeah. Someone I saw a thing where they were like, if he really read the number of books he said he did, they're like, he would have had to have been reading some ridiculous number of books a day from when he was like 3 years old or something like that. But
and I saw somebody call into question his 40 sprint time, you know.
No, he said, what did he say he runs a 40 in?
It was pretty quick, but I don't do 40s. I've always been terrible to 40. Like, that's my worst. I'm not a short distance burst guy, you know. I'm more of like a longer distance like runner. So
yeah, like your jits, dude, wear them down and then strangle them to death.
Yeah, cook them. Yep. Yeah. I've just heard people saying there ain't no way he runs that 40. Hell, I don't know enough about a 40 to tell you if he could or not.
I mean, I know enough only from like the, from the combine and stuff, where if he says, oh yeah, I run a 4.2, and be like, yeah, fucking right, guy. Let me look. I'm curious now, because that's funny. He said,
he was bragging about his 40, and people were saying, dude, that's incredibly fast. I don't think he can do it.
Okay, let me see it. He said he ran a 4.9 at the what? He said he ran a 4.9 at age 52.
Do you believe that?
That would be ridiculously fast for a 52-year-old. I mean, 4.9. Like 4.9's like not crazy fast, generally speaking, for like an NFL athlete.
He's a 50-year-old comedian.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. They're saying that they got it on tape though.
Oh yeah.
That Williams ran a 4.9. Oh, they got it on tape. Hold on. Here, I'm gonna show you. This is what this is the video of him supposedly running this 4.9. All right, here you go.
You know, I don't believe he was lying either. I believe he.
Oh yeah. What's the time? No.
That's Cat Williams. Hold on.
Adam at 4.97. 4.97.
I mean, dude, he's looking right there, dude.
Oh yeah.
That's all lies will be exposed, brother.
Yeah, man. Maybe he really did read 50,000 books or whatever.
It's very possible. I mean, he's telling the truth about everything else.
Yeah, dude. So what was it like when you have your first podcast interview, you had a casual conversation, and then the whole world went nuts on you? We're like, dude, if you had Dana reading off of a piece of paper, dude. I've never seen Dana make a statement like that, where Dana was reading off a piece of paper. I'm like, damn, dude, Bryce fucked up if he's got the boss reading a statement off a piece of paper.
Well, it was just a little bit unbelievable, the amount of shit that it stirred up. It was literally unbelievable. I mean, if you'd have told me, Bryce, you're going to be in the New York Times, and well, first off, I'd be like, what on earth am I going to be in the New York Times for? And then to find out it was for them trying to make me look racist and hateful, dude, that would have blown my mind. But to think that I was in the New York Times, to think that like all these people were talking about me, and dude, honestly, I wasn't trying to stir up that much shit, and I've just got to watch how I talk, because when you're doing a podcast, you're not by yourself in your living room talking to people that you trust and love, and it's that simple. And dude, I'm not trying to be hateful. And I think that literally anybody that knows me literally knows that. And so the whole thing, if I had to put it into one word, I would say it was unbelievable, because that was not my intention, bro. If I was literally trying to stir the pot and just sitting here saying, oh, what can I do to make all the media talk about me, 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 me? I mean, yeah, maybe that would have been a good way to do it. But, dude, I was just trying to engage what a relatively small audience in a historical conversation.
Bro, they would have ate you alive let's say 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Bruh.
2 years ago.
They would have kicked you off every single social media platform in 1 second. In 1 second.
Yeah. I mean, but now, dude, there's so much information going around, and there's so many conversations now that never happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I remember, for example, September 11th. If you'd have come out September 12th and said, hey, 9/11 was an inside job, our own government did it. It was bullshit. We don't need to go over there and fight in Afghanistan and kill those innocent people. And, dude, if you'd have said that September 12th, I'm telling you, you get death threats. You'd have people saying, oh, you piece of shit, you blah, 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 blah. Now everybody knows 9/11 is an inside job, and they can take a clip of what I say and broadcast it everywhere. I don't give a fuck. Everybody knows 9/11 is an inside job. Everybody knows that George Bush profited off of that. Dick Cheney profited off of that. Innocent people were killed. The war was dragged out so Halliburton could make money. But it took 10 years, 20 years for that lie to be fully exposed.
What's the thing that you saw that was most convincing for you on the 9/11 stuff? I remember because I remember early on I watched that documentary Loose Change. That was out pretty soon after September 11th, and I remember watching that and being like, God damn, is all this shit true? You know, like, because my approach to basically every single thing that's ever happened is, I don't know. You know, I'm like, I wasn't there. I have no idea. Even that stuff, like all of it. And I collect as much information as I can. And then I go, this is like most likely what happened. It's like, if I don't have like hands on it, I'm somewhere in the realm of, I don't know, but I just, and then I just like push real hard in one direction. But what'd you see on 9/11 that was the most convincing thing for you?
Most convincing thing for me, let me give you two of them, okay? And I'm to the point where I know this shit was inside by American government, and I think there were foreign governments involved as well. And I can't even mention the foreign agencies, I believe, that were involved, but our own government.
Probably a good idea for you at the moment.
Yeah, but I could tell you right now, our fucking government was in on that shit. Number one, there's no explanation for it. Unless if you want to listen to my explanation for it, but it's molten steel. There was 100%, I mean, undeniable, undebatable. You have to come with the understanding that there was molten steel at 9/11. It poured out of the building, and after the wreckage, up to 3 weeks after, there was molten steel accumulated in pools so big that it obstructed the cleanup.
I've seen all that stuff. The thermite is what they said.
Thermate, yeah. There's thermite and thermate. Somebody was saying that thermate would have more likely been used. I don't know the difference in thermite and thermate, but apparently people are saying that thermate did it, which is a military grade incendiary. It literally melts steel. So all of if there was just a little bit of molten steel there, Jesse, I would just say, look, a gas line blew, and somehow that temperature of 2,500 degrees got reached. But when you have the amount of molten steel that there was, the fucking amount of molten steel, it was pouring out of the fucking building. It was pulled up at the bottom of the building for that amount of molten steel to be there. And it is a red hot, it has a very specific color, a very specific viscosity. You can tell molten steel from other molten metals. Yeah, bro, there was molten steel. The steel wouldn't have been able to melt without the incendiaries. The only people that would have been able to put those incendiaries there would have had access to high-level military shit, bro.
Yeah.
Number
The
two,
passports, like I put up there, that's
Oh,
one. So there's like for me, there's and again, I have no idea. I just like, but I mean, there's plenty of facts that are just they're facts that you got to at least look at and go, all right. So the molten steel for sure. I've read all that stuff, and I mean the how many thousands of structural engineers that signed that document that they're like, what their official story is literally impossible, and especially the building 7 came down. There wasn't even not a building.
it wasn't even hit.
Didn't even get hit.
There was no.
And what's crazy, I remember on September 11th, I saw that happen live. I saw Building 7 go down live. So like when people were like, no one even knew Building 7 went down. I'm like, I did. I saw that happen. I was watching TV when it happened. But there's like 2 categories of things in any of these conversations for me. Like A are facts that I don't even know how to do this categorically. So I'm just gonna say like thermite. Okay, so like there's molten steel. Then you have Building 7 comes down. Like those are things that happen. Then there's this other thing, like the passports get found intact when supposedly jet fuel. It was like it's hot enough to melt the building, but it doesn't. But their passports are fine.
To think that
like
you can even find a passport and all of that shit.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like, but that is this category where, as an example, let's say foreign terror organizations really did do this, and the intelligence agencies, they know that, and they're like, look, we have to get the American people behind what we're going to do. That's the kind of thing that I could see a scenario where they're like, we need to give them something they can digest so that we can do what we need to do. And so they, tell the story about the passport, but it's like, it's almost like, yeah, that's fake, but it's fake not because they actually did it. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying like
I see what you're saying, and you're saying, look, NASA only faked the moon landing. They didn't lie about everything else. They just faked the moon landing because they had to. They're not inherent liars. NASA's not totally evil. They only lie about small little details because they have to.
So like the moon landing, a perfect example would be like,
once they lie, they're fucking liars, bro. And
that's fair.
You know that on a personal level. I'm sure you've dated a crazy woman who's a manipulative liar. Does she
all of them except my wife.
Yeah, exactly. And so do they ever tell the truth? No. When they're certified liars, that's what they are and that's what they do. And so when they're telling you they pull passports out of their ass, I'm telling you anything that person says is non-credible now. Anything is non-credible. If they said that the grass is green, you better go outside and look.
Yeah.
You can't.
The challenge with the government is just that they're so especially now we're seeing it's so big that like if it's okay, so this part of the government now has been established. You can't trust them. I mean, I really, if I'm being honest, I haven't seen any part of the government that I'm like, listen, those guys are doing great work. I trust RFK. I trust him 100%. Anything that comes out of HHS, out of his department now, I'll be like, I believe it, dude. I believe it because I believe him.
Hey, me too. I do trust RFK, even though he's not a total anti-vaxxer. You can disagree with me and not be a total anti-vaxxer, and I still like you and trust you, but he is wrong. He needs to be an anti-vaxxer. He needs to come out and have the nuts to say, hey, these vaccines are killing our kids, because I care about kids. I don't care about my public perception. You can take clips of me, put them on the internet anywhere, but whatever. I am an anti-vaxxer. None of them work. They never have. They never will. They're evil. They're here to destroy. They're here to control population. And I don't give a shit what you think, but my vaccine, my kids ain't getting vaxxed. It's that simple. And
I'll tell you this, mine are not, but that particular topic we can't talk about on this channel because I actually lost my other channel talking about. That's like the only thing that we can't talk about. But my kids aren't vaccinated either, just for the record.
Hey, baby, can we plug this laptop in? I'm about to die. I'll be right back, Jesse. I got to plug this.
Take your time, my dude. I'll get caught up on these. Toasted Orthodox Jew, love Bryce. See, you guys know, man. I'll make sure Bryce sees these too, you guys. Facts, thug, nasty, explosive, professional. So these, yeah. I mean, this government's talking about trillions of dollars went unaccounted for the next day 9/11 happened. Yeah.
All right, I'm back, baby. Oh, and one more thing with the 9/11 too. Got that software where you can pull up stuff and we both see it real quick.
Yeah, what do you want me to pull up?
There were beams. If you type in 9/11 beams, the beams that were left, there's one at a 45-degree angle. Like it's not left like mangled. It's left at that perfect 45-degree angle. And if you can maybe if you typed in 9/11 beams or steel beams, there's pictures of beams left at the site at perfect 45-degree angles. And that's demolition expert style, bro. Like that's what demolition experts do when they use incendiary charges.
I know what you're talking about. You're talking about how they're cut at that angle. Yeah. I've seen that before.
So when I saw all of these beams left at a 45, and then I saw that the steel was molten, I said, look, that was an inside job because somebody went to the structural support columns of that building and took them out systematically. And yeah, bro. So the molten steel and the beams, looking at the skeleton of the building and then seeing the skeleton of the building melted. That's what made me say, look, not only do I not trust the government, I don't trust the media. I don't ever trust anybody that is high ranking anymore. I have to question everything. And yeah, bro. So that's really what changed my life is finding out that 9/11 was an inside job.
Look at this, dude. It's like so whenever you look it up, this is like the only way you'll be able to find it is on something that says it's debunked. Like you can't find it anywhere else. It's like they took it down. See, look at this. Okay, so it says the cut column that's evidence of thermite on 9/11, and it's like, all right, and then I don't even know what this is showing. But what I will say is, look at that is straight up. That's melted metal right there, dude. Like, yeah,
it's melted.
I mean, that is
at that perfect 45 angle, and you can't get a better angle than that.
I mean, like, this is what I'm saying, though. Like, on these debunked ones, it's cut 10/29/2001. This is why I say I have no idea about anything. Is because, says who that this is cut 10/29/01, and it's all dates confirmed by AP photos. Oh, okay. Super trust. You know what I mean? I'm just like, okay,
right.
I don't trust it. I just don't trust anything, dude. Like,
yeah.
If I get verified with my own two eyeballs. Here, let me. I was going to show you this. So, like, Toasted said, I'm an Orthodox Jew, and they love you, Bryce Mitchell.
Oh, I love you too, buddy. And
then Brooke said, facts thug nasty, explosive professionals in those buildings were rigged with explosives.
Yep.
And then the U.S. government was talking about trillions of dollars went unaccounted for. Then the next day, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that part is crazy. $2.1 trillion unaccounted for, and then and that is what I've always heard. I can't verify this, but I have always heard through. And again, when I say I can't verify this, like I've heard this from multiple places. I can't verify those pictures. I can't verify nothing, dude. But I have heard from multiple sources that what was in Building 7 was related to some kind of like accounting stuff from the like Pentagon accounting stuff or intelligence accounting or something like that. Make America Bryce Mitchell again. Eddie Bravo, Bryce, Jesse, all three making it happen. Thank you,
dude. That would be a great time right there, man.
Yeah, I did Sam Tripoli's show a few weeks ago. I love that guy, man. He's Sam Tripoli's good people. Have you ever hung out? Have you ever talked to him? Like you guys would get along really well, dude.
I have not. I definitely know the name. I can almost guarantee I've watched the shows. I just can't put a face to him right now.
He has a live show with Eddie Bravo. Him and Eddie Bravo tour together, and he's a comedian. Yeah, he's done Rogan a bunch of times, and I met him because I did Shab's Fight Companion, and he was there. I think we met before that too, though. Dude, Shab just bought a house super close to my my jiu-jitsu gym. He's gonna be like 2 miles away. I think Shab's gonna be in the family now.
Are you out of Texas, brother?
Austin, yeah, I'm just on the other side of the county line. Like, so we're in Austin, but we're like there's like Austin County. We're right on the other side of the county line, so that we don't have those fruitcakes telling us what to do. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah. I don't like the city limits either.
Yeah, dude. Austin's great though, dude. This whole area is great for it's like if you're into especially jiu-jitsu, like jiu-jitsu here is B teams here, like I want to train B team. B team is the shit. Yeah. That's one of my favorite gyms ever. Those guys are hilarious. I was on the same flight as those guys for ADCC. I flew because I'm with Six Blades, so like Victor Hugo, Shunji Ribeiro, and all those guys. And like we're going to like a bunch of guys from our team are fighting on UFC Fight Pass March 6th in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today. And so I was on the same flight as all those B team guys for ADCC, and they're fucking, dude, they're a frat. They're literally just a frat. Like they're a frat of grapplers, dude. They're hilarious.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're that's exactly what they are. That's why I love them. You know,
they looked jacked, dude. They were like, you know, because they were like, all of them were peaking on their cycles for ADCC. You know, they don't have to keep it a secret. They're just like, you know,
dude, I hate that they're on that shit, bro. It is so bad for your system.
You think so? If you do it right, like if you cycle on and off, you think it's bad? Like you think it's bad? You think so?
I think it's just like spraying ether in your tractor. I mean, it won't start. Hey, it's cold outside. It won't start. I'm gonna spray that ether, and then the next time you have to spray it, and then the next time you have to spray. Well, that's fair,
yeah.
And then your cylinders don't got no compression no more because the ether rotted out the seals. You know, and it's like, dude, you're pushing that engine harder than what God designed it to be pushed, and it can be, but you don't get the high mileage that God gave your body. You know, you won't. Your body won't get all the mileage that it's designed to. I just think it's that simple, bro. Yeah, it's the steroids, dude. That's terrible. At least I'm gonna die of brain damage, not steroids. You know what I mean? Like
that's fair. Yeah.
You know, if I had to pick, I'd much rather die of brain damage because it's all in your head.
Yeah. Here, Bryce is Choke Dealer, who officially, he's one of my guys that he's got officially, in my opinion, the best jiu-jitsu handle for anyone at Choke Dealer. So he said, what's up, Doug? Nasty big fan. Can't wait to see you in the octagon again. One question. How long did it take for you to perfect the twister?
I would say it took at least like 5 years before I ever hit it in a match. Actually, even more than that. But I would say for 5 years, I really worked on it. And actually, when I would do it in class, like before I ever hit one in a fight, people would actually be like, hey, why are you doing that? Why are you wasting your time? That's not realistic. You're a cage fighter, not a jiu-jitsu dude. Why would you ever do that? And I was like, look, dude, I'm telling y'all, it's good for control. I'm telling you, you can punch people. You can elbow people from this position. And nobody listened to me. That was, 5 years ago. Nobody would listen to me. Then I went out.
Walk me through exactly how you do it, like step by step, because so you actually just walk me through it. Like I jiu-jitsu, so I'll understand what you're saying. Because like I've seen it, and I remember like the last time someone walked me through it, I'm like, that's not as complicated as it seems, dude. Like in terms of like it's not that complicated,
No, and you're
so exactly like what do you do exactly, like step by step? What's the first thing you do? You know what I mean? Like to set it all the way up and then finish it.
You establish one hook generally first, just depending on what position that you're getting it from, because there's some positions
you're like on the side and then you do a hook from the front, right? And then you figure for their side leg.
Right. And it depends if they're in turtle or if they're already on their butt and you're behind them. It kind of depends. But let's just say you're behind the guy. Like you have the option of doing a rear naked choke. Why would you ever let go of a rear naked choke to go for a twister? Well, sometimes you can't rear naked choke people, and they're hand fighting so good. And then, so say you have two hooks in, right? And then they clear a leg. So now you have one hook in.
They put their back on the floor. And then, so like you're saying, like they clear one and they put their back on the floor?
They haven't got their back on the floor yet. You're still chest to back, but they've cleared a hook.
Okay.
And then they've hand fighted you to where you're not able to get your traditional across their throat. So now you've got like a half Nelson. You've got a half Nelson on one side and a hook on the other. And then you start stretching them out. And then you put them to the side with the hook, the side that you've got the legs hooked in, you put that side to the mat. And then you start working that grip with your hands. You turn your half Nelson into a gable grip. You can shoot your arm in deeper and punch with the other arm or elbow with it. But it's all about combining the legs and the arms, doing a simultaneous attack.
Yeah.
And for defending.
So are you saying, so when you're saying that you smash them down, like, so are you saying, so you know how like same thing, if you got someone's back and they clear one of the hooks and then you throw your knee behind their shoulder and crush their shoulder down so that you can reestablish, and then you roll them that direction to reestablish back control. You know what I'm talking about? Like you do that, basically that exact same thing, except you're not trying to reestablish the back. That's like, is that what you mean when you say that you smash them down on that side?
You put the hook that is in, you want to figure for it, like lock your your feet in like
Yeah,
that. Like
yeah,
if these are
triangle
my
it,
feet, you want to have your feet actually in this position, not like this. Your feet should be like this. One foot is further down than the other, and your feet are exactly like that. And then you roll them and put your feet to the ground so that their free leg that you have no control over is up in the air. You know what I mean? You want that leg in the air, and the controlled leg, the leg that you have double grapevine or figure four grip, whatever you want to call that grip, with your feet, yours are on the ground. Their free leg is up in the air. And then you stop worrying about their neck and you worry about underarm control, underhook control with your arms. And dude, it's a phenomenal system, and I'll tell you why. Because you're usually not giving up anything. They've already cleared a hook, or you never got the hook in the first place, so you only had one. Like, I'm not taking out both hooks to go for a twister. They've done it for me.
Yeah, they beat one of the hooks already. Yeah,
they've either beat the hook or I've only got one.
Yeah.
Then I just see a twister. I'm going to get their back and choke them out just like normal, but I can only get one hook, and then they happen to give me the opposite arm. Like if they would just literally tuck their elbows in and not give me anything, well, hell, I would never go for a twister. But they're turning and opening up their opposite arm, and so then you're able to get one hook in the opposite arm. And I usually start out in a half Nelson or a 3/4 Nelson, whatever you call it, and then I shoot my arm further and further and just start digging my arm in there. And then when you dig one arm deeper, your other arm becomes free, nothing to do, so you can start punching with it. And but my point is that you don't have to give up top position. You don't have to at any point when they start getting out, which when they get out, when they get their butt on the ground or they get their back on the ground. When their back gets to the ground or their butt starts getting to the ground, they get their hips out. Just go on.
You switched them out.
Side mount usually. There's actually a reverse twister I've been working on heavily. And I think I'm going to reverse twister somebody. Arkansas twister is what we call it. But
you get to name that shit if you're the first one to do it.
Yeah, I can almost bet one of these days I'm going to Arkansas twister somebody in a fight. The Arkansas twister, it might be actually worse than the regular twister. But if you defend the regular twister, I can Arkansas twister you. And I have a system in place. And if I fail my Arkansas twister, I still generally get top position and don't lose position. And so that's the advantage of this going the twister. You can use it if you need it. And if you don't, then just don't fucking use it. You know what I mean? But it's not something to where you go for it like an arm bar.
And if you miss it, you gave up the position. Yeah,
you're fucked. You know, then you have to be like Ronda Rousey because, you just can't miss them if you go for them. Whereas a twister, it's like you can go for them, you can miss them, and then just take side mount.
Yeah, dude, Matt Sales, the guy you hit the first one on, is the I had him on the show like when I first started my channel, and I asked him, I'm like, hey, what does that feel like? He's like, dude, it felt like somebody was just taking each vertebrae and popping it like out. He said it was awful, dude. Horrendous.
Yeah, it actually, that was the first one I've ever cranked as hard as I could. And I mean, it was a live competition, dude. I cranked it as hard as I possibly could. And it was locked in so perfectly tight. And the feeling that you get from that, when you look back on it, it's just like, oh man, it's just, you can feel everything stretch, like the body's actually stretching, like it feels like a rubber band, like a big, one of those thick rubber bands for yoga or whatever. Like the body actually feels got that rubber spring feeling to it. Like you're pulling and stretching and you can feel the tension. And you can hear it too because it was making little pops, and it's just miserable.
Yeah, dude, this guy. So like, it's funny you say that about that position from the back where you beat a hook, because like, I tore my bicep tendon a couple of years ago, and so the way I kept training was I just tied my arm into my belt, and I literally worked turtle back and back escapes for 3 months and nothing else. So that part of my game is really strong. And this dude, right? So this guy, this is Felipe Costa. He just won Nogi Worlds, IBJJF. He got third at ADCC, the last one. I think he's fighting 85 on Fight Pass in a second. But he does this thing. He does that thing where when he has my back, like he knows I'm good at escape. So instead of having both hooks in, he has one hook in on one side, and then he keeps the other one out, and then hooks it from the outside. and I can't do anything. Like I don't like both hooks in. I would prefer my opponent to do than that one hook in and then one on the outside where they kind of like hold my other leg up in the air. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
that shit is impossible. Like there's nowhere to go. I can't beat that hook because I can't put my back on the floor if I beat it, and I can't go that way because he's got a hook from the other way. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know why everybody doesn't do that. It's like, it just takes away every regular way that you escape people on your back.
Yeah, it's just a little bit unconventional. And with so many things going on in MMA, with which most people, they're striking heavy anyways. So when they do go to train their ground game, they're just thinking, hey, what's the ABCs, you know, how do I get out of side mount, or how do I hold side mount? How do I hold back control? They're not really having fun and like literally trying to create. And when you get to that level, when you're trying to have fun and create and learn and expand and just do things for fun, not, you know, then you'll realize that twister, it's not only fun to do, it's very useful once you get good at it. But it takes more training in the twister than your standard back control. And that's why
How fired up were you the first time you hit it on somebody in practice and they tapped?
Oh, dude, it was unbelievable. You know, it's almost like you don't believe in that stuff until you start doing it. And then it just gets to a point where you're like, dude, I believe in this, and I don't care who says I can't twister somebody. I know I can.
Just did.
Yeah. You got to hit them enough and stay on top of them enough, and they have to be good enough to stop the rear naked choke. You can't twister somebody that's no good. You'll just choke them.
Yeah.
Then the person.
So somebody should be flattered if you twister them, dude. It means they've got good. Hey,
that means that's the only option I had available. You know what I mean? That means they shut down everything else, and I had to do a twister. And most people don't focus on that area of defense.
Dude, what's that guy's name that you almost twisted? The other guy. What's that?
Charles Rosa.
Bro, that guy had nasty jits, huh? Like,
yeah,
he's a good grappler.
He's straight up black belt under I think it's Rafael Cordero or something. I haven't met his coach before, but the coach is a total badass, and he's a total badass. But he has that, like, I'm not gonna tap, like, you're gonna have to kill me, and I'm not gonna tap. So that's what made that matchup interesting. But he also had the physical skill and ability to withstand what I was doing. For example, in the position that Matt Sells was in, with his body type and like the tension that we were talking about, the flexibility, the popping, like Matt Sells, he's mentally tough, bro. Like, he just literally physically, his body could not handle that twist. Yeah. Even if Matt Sells would have said, look, I'm going to not tap, I'll die. I'm telling you, that night, Matt Sells, his neck or his back would have broke. He damn near would have died. I mean, I'm telling you, that's how tight it was on Matt Sells. His body wasn't as flexible, and the lock was actually in tighter because he was a little bit more barrel-chested, and so it was tighter. Charles Rosa has a little bit skinnier of a build, and he can move just a little bit, and he had enough knowledge to prevent the final squeeze. And what I figured out afterwards is that my footwork was wrong. Brandon McHagren, which is one of Eddie Bravo's black belts, a really good black belt too. He's from Alabama. But anyways, Brandon McHagren, he got with me. He said, look, dude, I can show you how to finish that on Charles Rosa. Your footwork was wrong. And so I basically adjusted my footwork since that fight. And I think if I went back on Charles Rosa, I think I could finish the twister based on having a totally new footwork system.
Like, if you were in the same position, you just switched.
I'd switch my feet up. Yeah. And if that didn't work, I've also adjusted my ground and pound to where the ground and pound now I can put somebody unconscious with it. I can break ribs. I've worked on I've basically worked on, if I get somebody like Charles Rosa, who is a submission fucking expert, and they're flexible, and they literally will die before they tap. Like Charles Rosa told me, I'll fucking die before I tap. I'm not going to tap to you. And I believe him. Because like, he didn't fucking blink when he said it. Like, he just looked at me and said it. And we were in an elevator. He wasn't trying to show off, you know. It was me and him in a fucking elevator after the fight. And
after the fight,
he said, look, dude, I'm not ever tapping to you. I would die before I tap to you. And I believed him. And but even if you could take me now and put me into that spot with Charles Rosa, a guy who literally won't tap, he would die before he taps. I think I could break something to where he would, like, his back wouldn't work, his neck wouldn't work, or I could go for the strikes and just put him out unconscious, because I've just got better at that position. I'm more lethal than I was. But the Charles Rosa fight is what made me so good as what I am today. Because after that, I was like, look, if I get this twister, I got to finish it. I can't get that close and not finish the twister. So I've really worked on my finishing ability. And Brandon McCagran's who really helped me with that.
That's awesome. Dude, so wait, so you got a hard stop at 20 minutes. So I wanted to ask you about two things. So first thing, I'll make sure we get this in, and then I want to ask you about, because Ilya vacated in your weight class. So that we got to talk about that. But I want to just, while I have you on, ask you about, like, so the Jackson podcast, when you went on, they said that they had you scheduled for a long time before that. Is that true? So was that true?
100% true. Yeah, he's not.
So it just happened that, like, that happened right before you were coming on. And then what was that whole experience like for you?
I was wanting to train with the guys more. That's the only thing that I'm disappointed about, is that we didn't get to train. And but I really like the guys. I mean, even when we got off the air, Bear was really, really nice to me, and he actually wasn't critical of me at all when we got off the air. But I do think that he wanted to be critical of me on air to protect himself. Not necessarily to make.
He's probably nervous about the channel and the show. Maybe.
He wasn't concerned with making me look bad, bro. Like, I'm telling you. He actually really likes me, and I mean, I love the guy. I really do.
What's not to like, dude? Jesus.
Oh, thank you, brother. But he was trying to protect himself to make himself not look like racist, because he didn't really. That was the first time we met. He probably thought that I was racist, because if that's all that you heard, the clips that they were circulating, and you didn't watch the podcast about, like, we were talking about the whole history of 1930s leading up to that. And if you just take one clip of what I said, it's going to make me look like I'm a piece of shit. But you play the whole conversation, and then my reaction was that, hey, I don't want to be insensitive and hurt people's feelings, so I'm not going to talk about it. How about that? So my apology was legit, and I mean, I just don't see how he could be mad at me, and he's not. He literally told me, he said, look, dude, I'm just trying to help you out, and he wasn't trying to make me look bad. But when he did the podcast, he was worried about himself looking racist.
Podcast. Yeah,
he was worried about the podcast looking racist, and which shit made the whole thing look even worse, because it looked like he was judging me, and really, even if he's judging me, he wasn't trying to make me look bad. I promise, bro. Like the dude.
No, I bet I have a show. I guarantee he was stressing out about the show.
He didn't want the show to get canceled.
Yeah, because if he had, especially now that I know that they really did have you scheduled for a long time before, then I know in his brain he's like, oh fuck, man. He's like, we got a great opportunity to capitalize on all this conflict, but also if Bryce comes on and says the greedy Jews are trying to make the kids gay and that's why they're burning books, they're gonna burn our fucking show to the ground. That's probably what that's probably what's going through his brain. I never even did any videos on that about that episode. I did one about the Forrest Griffin one just because that shit was so funny, dude. Did you watch Forrest Griffin's like when Forrest Griffin went on the Jackson podcast? Did you watch that?
Jesse, I watched 4 or 5 minutes of it, and
that's
I said
the funniest thing I've ever seen, dude.
I said it's unbearable. I couldn't imagine what was said the rest of the hour, but I watched 4 minutes of it, and it was just like, why was he saying all of that stuff? And dude, I think that I like Forrest a lot. I love Forrest.
Me too.
But, I think he was
wild way to see the world, dude. Like,
yeah.
I was thinking about it today because I got this black chick who cuts my hair, and her and I were wrapping out today, and we were talking about the Diddy case, and we were talking about the Jay-Z. So there's that the accusation of the 13-year-old who said that Jay-Z and Diddy, ran a train on her when she was 13. They dropped that case, right? Because that chick, she was lying for sure. And And I was talking to her about it, and I'm like, "Oh, you didn't hear they dropped the case?" She's like, "No." I'm like, "Dude, check this out." I'm like, I'm like, the accuser's an autistic white chick in Arkansas whose dad said that she made the story up. And I was thinking about after how I'm talking to a black chick and I notate that it's a white accuser because that shit's weird. And I think, and it's not weird with her for me to say that, because it is weird that it's an autistic white chick in Arkansas. And so I think it's this mindset where they get there, I'm white, they're black. Oh my gosh. Where that's the most bizarre thing to me is dude, it's fine, dude. There's the only person where there's an elephant in the room because Rampage is black and you're white. That's in your head, bro. Rampage isn't thinking about that shit. That's why it's so fucking weird. You know,
Rampage, it's Rampage. I love his response. He said, "Yeah, but I don't think about it."
Yeah.
Said, and I don't think about it. But bro, it's I think that we're all like that. I mean, really,
I never think about that shit ever.
We all know that all of our ancestors killed each other and did all sorts of terrible shit. But we just really don't think about it because it wasn't us, and there's nothing we can do about it. And yeah, dude. But like I said, I watched 4 minutes of it, and it was just that. It was so awkward for me that it was no longer enjoyable.
It was gold for me because I was just laughing my ass off and making fun of it on my video. Because dude, you want to know the funniest part? That Forrest is do you ever think about the fact that people that look like me did horrible shit to people like you? And I was thinking about bro, that's the example I gave in my video is have you ever seen Braveheart? So if two guys are, in the training room together, one of them's English and the other one's Scottish. It's hey man, you know that your ancestors, the nobles used to come and rape the brides of my ancestors on the first night of their wedding. You're talking about the 1400s, right? You're what the, how is this relevant? You know what I mean? Rampage is not a slave. You are not a slave owner. This is stuff that happened hundreds of, what are you talking about? Why is this? How is this in the front of your mind? It's so bizarre. Dude.
And the very front. I mean, the very, very, very
first thing. Dude,
I mean, it's buried in there. That's what we wanted to talk about. And
30 seconds into the podcast. So I said in my video, at least 8 people sent it to me because they knew I was going to like that video. They knew I was going to light it up, dude.
Yeah.
And so everybody sent it to me you got to cover this. So I clicked on it and I went to minute 7 and they were talking about their fight. So I went to minute 12 and they were talking about something. I'm like, where the hell is this thing? So I went in the comments and everyone said the same thing. They're I couldn't make it past 4 minutes. So I went to the beginning and it was Forrest sat down. He's hey, how are you guys doing? Let's talk slavery. It was
right.
What, dude?
Right.
That's weird, man. That's weird.
It is, man. It is. But you know what, dude? I really do love Forrest Griffin.
Me too.
And I do think that he was trying to have good intentions. It's just not a good thing to bring up like that at that specific time. Now, if something had literally led the conversation to that point and he didn't steer it into that, it really wouldn't be as strange. But it was the fact that that's what he was he just brought it up out of nowhere, and I thought it was really strange, and I was just disappointed about the whole thing because I don't want to see the people that I like in those awkward conversations where anybody gets embarrassed of it. I don't like watching other people get embarrassed. I really don't. I never watch somebody get embarrassed and think, oh, I just love it. It makes me happy. And I get all, woo.
Yeah.
I just don't want the conversations to go like that. I don't want
it makes my blood run the opposite way in my veins sometimes. Dude, you know what's funny? I was thinking about though is
no.
Exactly, dude. It really feels like normally my blood runs this way, and then all of a sudden it stops and starts going the other direction. That's what it feels like, dude.
I know. So I'm just go for it. Don't do it.
What's so funny though is so Jackson, Rampage, and Bear, they're running a podcast, they're having guys on. They just had this thing with what's his name, with Holland. And he came on and there was all that conflict. And so their podcast's on fire and everybody has Rampages back there all 45 seconds. What the fuck are you talking about? Dude, relax, Kevin Holland. Yeah. And then, so they're on a high and then they had you on and the whole place, hey, fuck this guy, dude. You have Bryce on, you don't let him talk, and they're like, oh my god, they take the episode down and spaz out. So I was watching when Forrest started talking about that. I just looked right at Bear, and he was like, you gotta go watch it and watch Bear, dude. Like, I don't think Bear's a bad guy at all, dude. He's sitting in the back, and you could just see he's like, oh fuck, man, come on, man, don't,
dude. He's had
slavery, Forrest, like not slavery. Yeah,
dude. He's had it rough, dude.
Yeah,
I feel bad there, man.
Forrest looked at him too and asked him a question about it. You know, like he tried to bring him into the conversation, and Bear was just like, "Oh God, man."
Yeah. He was like, "Fuck this," and Rampage. Like, no, let him talk.
Yeah.
Dude, my favorite, like I said, this is in the first couple minutes. This is where I was like, okay, this shit is a little bit funny, and I actually feel bad for Forrest at this point. Was when he said, quote for quote, he said, "There's slavery and there's the atomic bomb." And he didn't explain what he meant by that. And it's
he said slavery is worse. He said slavery is worse. And you're like, bro, an atomic bomb literally murdered 250,000 men, like women and children. You're like, at least, like, you know, I mean, the slavery is awful, but like they were at least alive. You know, like, I mean,
right.
I mean, they're at least alive. Yeah,
right. Yeah, dude, and dude. There's been so slavery is just since civilization started. It's not just American history. Like, bro, literally every group of military conquered people, if they live, they end up being slaves, and sometimes they can actually get out of slavery if they're really fortunate. If back in the day, if you was conquered by the Romans or whatever, they take you in as slaves. And if you were an exceptional slave, you might get freedom after however many years, you know, back in Rome or whatever. But dude, it was the fact that he was like kind of pinning it on modern white men. You know,
well, that's like the standard story in this country, because it's like, I always say, I'm like, it's really unfortunate that like in the United States, slaves were black and slave owners were white, because it's like this constant visual thing that you can never shake off, where it's like, because the way, honestly, I mean, like, not to fucking put myself in a position where people are going to, you know, I don't want to put myself in a jackpot, but I will just say the following. There is another way to look at the American history with slavery, which is that like slavery existed all over the world forever. Yeah. And we eradicated it. You know what I mean? Like there's a complete other way of looking at it, which is like, there's always been slavery, and we were like, this is fucking barbaric, and we eradicated it. Not to mention, a lot of people went and died to eradicate it. So it's like, you know, people look at the history of the United States is evil because of slavery, and you're like, or the United States is at the forefront of freedom in every single way that you could measure it, to the point where the citizens went and died to free people that they didn't even know, because they decided that the practice of slavery was so wrong. You know what I mean?
Right. And even though we don't have that type of slavery, like plantation slavery in this country anymore, like legal slavery, there's still economic slavery, bro. There's no convincing me that we're not owned by the Federal Reserve. I mean, they control the interest rates. They control which bank gets money. So we are economic slaves. For example, here's some slavery going on. Basically slavery, like those lithium mines in Africa these days, bro. It's all villagers digging with their bare hands. Like, that's damn near slavery. Nobody's making them do it. But bro, that's just like, their quality of life might actually be worse than somebody who was taken against their will and worked on a plantation. I mean, that's how bad the quality of life is for people on this planet to this day. So,
dude, I'm going to send you something about Africa after this. I'll text it to you. It's a clip from Sean Ryan's show that I watched yesterday. I fucking cried after I watched. Like, I legit, no shame, cried after watching it. It's like, dude, there's stuff going on there that's horrifying. I'll send that to you. It's only 10 minutes, but watch it. Now, before you have to leave, I got to ask you about the featherweight division. So you got Ilya. Looks like he's going to go fight. Probably going to go fight Islam. People are saying a lot of stuff. Let me just put my take on this out, and then you tell me what you think about all of it, right? So Ilya is going to go to 55. I think almost 100% he's going to fight Islam Makhachev because people are saying he should do a different fight at 55 first. There's no way they're going to do that because that risks this is a business. Okay. Like that's a super fight. If he fights against someone who's not the champion and he loses, that takes away your super fight. There's no way they're going to do that. It's going to be
cash out. Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be Islam. Now, the reason normally when you do a champ situation where you have someone go up or down and fight for 2 belts, normally one of the champions is not marketable. It's very rare where you have 2 marketable fighters who fight for the belt. And there's always extenuating circumstances. This is like one of those only few times that's happened. And the reason in this case is not because one of the fighters is not marketable because you have Islam and Topuria. It's because below at featherweight, the 2 guys who are going to fight for the vacant belt are both marketable. And so, you get to have Topuria go up, and now you got what's his name, Diego and Volkanovski fighting. Yeah. And regardless of which ones of those are both stars. So instead of usually you got 1 star, 1 not star, now you got 4 stars, and that's why you can do this. And then all you have to do to have Ilya do it is negotiate in his contract that he'll get paid for his fight at 45. So let's say he loses at 55, he goes down to 45, he'll be paid the same as if he was still the champion at 45 because he doesn't give a shit going into the fight whether he holds the belts or not, as long as he gets paid like he's a champion. So you make that deal, and then boom, he has no reason not to do it, and then you make the deal. So honestly, I'm just curious what you think about all of it. How do you feel about Volkanovski's chances against, that fight, Topuria against Islam? Just empty your brain before you leave.
Well, I'll give you what little is up there, brother. I do see that Makhachev is going to beat Topuria. The reason being is because when I got Topuria down, I'm just telling you, bro, like when you feel what you feel it. And I don't have a mathematical equation for you here, but I'm telling you, I can hold Ilya Topuria down. Mm-hmm. I'm just telling you, like if I get him down, he's probably not going to get up. If he does, it's going to take a lot of energy. He's better off just sit on his ass and wait for the round to go off. I mean, that's with me and my grappling and my size and my stature. And I think that Makhachev will hold him down. And, of course, Ilya's got a chance, bro. He's one of the most formidable fighters on the whole planet ever.
He lands, dude. He's dirt napping anybody at 55 if he lands heavy for sure.
And it's not just the landing heavy, bro. It's the punch selection. Mm-hmm. It's the shot placement. That's what makes him special is in a short amount of time, he can put the shots where they need to be. Mid-fight, change his targets. And he has good straights and good hooks, but he is more than just a power puncher. He is a very, very smart striker.
He looks fast in there. Is he the fastest? Is he like he moved and punched the fastest of anybody that you faced at that weight class?
No. Barbosa is much faster. Much faster. I'm telling you, it is a night and day difference. Wow. I saw every fucking thing Topuria threw. I think except that last straight right, but I do think that I saw it. I think I can't remember it because it dropped me. And it actually, the concussion of it actually kind of fogged my memory of it. But I saw all of his punches.
Is that shot? I don't remember how that fight ended. I mean, I know how it ended like on paper, but was it that shot? Was that the beginning of a sequence that led to the arm triangle? Is that how that happened? I don't remember.
Yeah, he dropped me with the straight right. The straight right. But Jesse, I think I saw the straight right in the moment because I remember every punch he threw. I really do. I can see his punches coming. Mm-hmm. But that night, dude, I honestly didn't have any energy. My temperature was 104 degrees after the fight, which I don't remember this after the doctor. They were wheeling me to the doctor, but the doctor told me, and my best friend was sitting right by me. And the doctor told me, he said, Bryce, you about died in there. I mean, seriously, your temperature is that hot. I was 104 degrees. My head was just on fire, bro. Like, you think Jesse is on fire. No, bro, my head was on fire that night.
So were you sick, or you think it had something to do with your weight cut, or what do you think happened?
It was, well, he punched the shit out of me, bro. He punches so hard, and then I already had the flu in my lungs. And so, like, my body couldn't like on a good day, I couldn't take that damage. And on that day, I was so overheated from my lungs weren't there. They were filled with that fluid for a week or two or whatever. About a week, they were filled with that fluid, and it just my lungs weren't right. I couldn't breathe. I felt like I was suffocating before even fucking choking. Like that, if you notice how quick I tapped, like I would have fought the choke, bro, but I was literally about to go out. Like he only squeezed it for like a second, and I was already dizzy. I just had the shit beat out of me, dude, and I was not in a condition to do good that night. Physically, I just wasn't there. I was there mentally, bro. I was not scared of him. I just knew, like early in the fight, like like halfway through round one, I knew I'm fucked, man, because I felt that lactic acid all in my hamstrings, all in my arms, and I was heaving for air halfway through the first round, and I immediately felt like shit. And I've never felt like that in a fight ever that quickly. I felt like that in the third round before, and not even that bad, not like overheated and can't breathe and stuff. I felt tired before. That was beyond tired. I was dying.
Dude, you know what's crazy that I learned literally this week that I never knew before was how your lactic acid and muscles are directly connected to your lung capacity. I learned this because my daughter got pneumonia, and so she had that inhaler thing. I'd literally never used one before, and I asked my wife, I'm like, so wait, this is like, because I'm like, I saw a UFC fighter use this in a fight and like almost got suspended, and I'm like, so tell me how this works again. And she told me, it's a broncho dilator, whatever. I used it last night training, and dude, I couldn't get tired. Like I could literally I hit it one time. Like the inhaler, I hit it once. I'd never done this before. I fucking couldn't get tired. My muscles never got tired. I never got winded. I'm like, and I mean, I know real well, like when my muscles will fatigue, and I never realized that your muscle fatigue is directly connected to your bronchial dilation in your lungs. I thought, I mean, it seems obvious in hindsight, but I literally learned this 24 hours ago. It's like if you hit one of those inhalers, it's like being on EPO. I would imagine. I've never hit it, but like I couldn't get tired. I could not get fucking tired. So like yours was in the reverse of that. You had pneumonia, you had fluid in your lungs, so you're dying.
So I was so fucked, bro. I was so fucked. But anyways, based off that experience that I had, that fight, I do think that Islam gets him down and he does not get up. I think every time that Islam gets him down, he's lucky to get up. But I do think that Topuria hits harder and is better at punching. But Islam is also a better kicker. So I don't think Islam don't have a better calf kick, which if I had to pick between a calf kick and a head kick, I would pick a good calf kick. I really would. They're just a little bit easier to land versus like a one-shot head kick. But I think Islam kicks harder, Ilya punches harder, but it's going to be the cardio and the takedown ability, the top pressure that I think that Makhachev wins by. Hell, I hope Topuria wins. Sorry, I always go for Christians. I mean, not always. I don't totally base everything off of religion or whatever. But if there's a Christian and a Muslim going, I'm like, hey, I'm Team Christ. I'm Team Jesus all the way.
Well, it's like an American, versus whoever. It's like just
American.
You root for the home team, dude.
You root for the American, right? So but if I had to put money on it, I think that Makhachev is a safe bet. I really do. And then the Diego fight with Volkanovski, I'm gonna go with Volk because of the experience, the cardio, and he doesn't do a lot of wild stuff. That might or might not work. Whereas Diego, he does go in there and he throws, bro, and he throws as hard as he can. But I could see like when he fought Dan Ige. Remember, Dan Ige didn't go away. You see what I'm saying? And it was a problem in the third round. And I think that Volk might not go away. Like he might come at Volk being his first title fight. He might go in there going crazy, and Volk can weather the storm.
Yeah, you do. And Volk, when he's on, dude, it seems like he could see what guys are doing before they even move. Like I was very close to the octagon for the Korean Zombie fight. God damn, he fucking demolished Korean Zombie. And then also the third Holloway fight. He just could, like, he knew he was ahead of every single thing that Holloway was doing. He made it seem like he was moving faster because his reaction time and his footwork was so good. But do you have to go? Do you have to go train?
Don't worry, brother. I think we'll be all right.
Okay. Okay, cool.
But I was going to, bro. I'm sick. The roads are iced.
Dude, it's freezing, huh?
Dude, I think I'm
nowhere.
I'm just gonna tell Coach, fuck it, bro. Like, what? But Coach really wants me to train. It's an hour away. But I'm just gonna do a workout here in the garage, lift weights, run on my treadmill.
Is that what you drive? You drive an hour to the gym every day? I did that. I did that for a year.
Yeah, when I was younger, I used to do it 3 or 4 days a week, but now I do it about 2 days a week. But and I train up in Searcy. That's where I live too. And there's a gym just right down the road, and then I got a workout thing in my garage. But bro, like my sinuses are totally stuffed up. But I'm not like bad sick or nothing. But it's the roads are iced over, and dude, I just don't want to train today. I want to lift weights in the garage and run on my treadmill. But I've got a grappling match coming up, so Coach really wants me to train for this grappling match.
Wait, what is it? What organization?
Karate Combat. It's my first experience with them, so I'm going against an undefeated MMA fighter. Dude's a badass.
What's his name?
23 years old. His name is Ile Barzilay.
Ile Barzilay. Does he have like a grappling? Like, does he have a profile grappling? Like, is he like a?
He's more of a knockout guy. He's like I think 6-0, undefeated.
So is it true? It's like when you. So you can take those grappling matches, but it tacks on 6 months on the back of your UFC contract, right? That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's accurate. Like I heard you get permission. Like UFC usually gives permission, but then it like throws 6 months of lock-in period on the back of the contracts. I don't know if that's accurate or not. Someone told me that.
I don't know. I've never read one of them UFC contracts. I just signed them. I mean, 50 pages. I mean, seriously, I don't think anybody reads that shit, dude. But I don't know. But here's how I look at it. Like, dude, they're going to do whatever they want. You're signing away all rights to your own self or whatever, just for the ability to fight. Hey, whatever. I'll sign it. I just want to fight. You know what I mean?
And it's UFC, dude. Where else do you want to fight? Come on.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I want to fight in UFC, and it's a great experience. And I feel like God's going to provide, even if the contract tries to screw me over, God's going to win. God won't let me get totally screwed over. God will always bless me, always provide for me. But yeah, dude, I don't even know what I'm signing when I sign those contracts, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I might throw, like, after you win. You don't have a fight schedule yet, do you?
No, sir, no fight. Yeah. I've been working on a fight, but the good thing is I've got this grappling match, and that it's kept me in good shape. I've been running, lifting weights and stuff, and I've been training up in Searcy. Not this whole last week. I've only didn't grapple at all, but last week I was grappling all week. This week I just haven't grappled at all. The roads froze over. Call me crazy, but I don't want to drive on the roads, dude. I already hate driving. It's the most unenjoyable experience for me, other than flying. Is just driving when I don't want to. And dude, I don't want to go to the gym tonight. I really don't. I want to sit in my garage. I have a wood stove in the garage. My son is in the living room. My wife is in the living room. I work out and I come inside and eat something, and I go back outside in the warm fire and work out. I don't want to go. I'm like a hermit, bro. I hate to leave the farm. I hate to do anything. It takes every motivation, every bit of motivation I've got to get me to that damn gym. Yeah. But when the weather's good, I'm at the gym all the damn time. No problem. But the weather's not good. That's my excuse. I'm staying home.
How much land you got out there?
I stay on 16 acres.
Yeah. Dude, I was just at a place, buddy of mine. I'm pretty sure he has 16 too. And 16 acres is a lot bigger than it sounds. It's like it's a fair amount of room, dude. He's got when I was at his place, you and I were talking about shooting range yesterday, but at his place, I was looking at, I'm like, bro, let's get a shit ton of steel and let's shoot everything, cause he's got a spot that I was eyeballing it without like a rangefinder, but I swear it's probably good 350, like probably 350 yards, and it's just like basically right in his backyard. And I'm like, fuck, man, if I had this, I would have steel everywhere, and I would shoot all day long, all day.
Yeah, I'm definitely wanting to train some shooting with you, brother. I'm just trying to
Let's
get
do it.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on but because what we're going to have to rely on is bolt action shots, and we're going to have very limited ammo. I mean, we don't have to rely on bolt action, but that's going to be our best strategy against these communists when they come to kill us all. Is just because we're going to be vastly outnumbered, vastly outgunned. We're going to have to fight like guerrilla warfare, bro. We're going to have to take one shot at a time. You ever heard of Carlos Hathcock?
No, I thought you were talking about I thought you were talking shooting deer because, like, we're gonna have to like get food. You're talking about the communists.
Well, I'm already good at shooting deer, dude. That's 100 yards. They're dead every time. I'm not going to miss a deer at 100 yards when my rifle's in and I've been doing my homework. I can hit that every time. I'm not an expert shooter, but 150 yards, 100 yards.
I'll eyeball a deer at 150.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I'm training for combat, bro. Like I'm telling you, Jesse, it will be a couple of years in our lifetime. I believe that we will be fighting for our land. Call me crazy, bro. But hey, say if I'm wrong, what does it hurt that we go out and train for that ability? You see what I'm saying?
Nothing. It's fun. It's fun anyway.
It's fun anyways, but I'm not even doing it just for fun, bro. I really think that we're gonna have to fight the forces of evil. I think, and I'll tell you, hell, while we're on this subject, I'll just tell you what I think is going to unfold. I think that our military is going to be greatly weakened after all of this Israel invasion and all of this shit, dude. I think World War III's getting close to starting, dude. I think that all of these countries are going to see what we do in Israel, and they're going to hate us, and they're going to come to kill us, bro. And call me crazy, but, dude, I can't help but to think that. I mean, look at the world and how much shit is going on. And, I really do think that something big is coming, brother.
What was something really scary that I heard someone talking about yesterday on a podcast? So, like, it's unbelievable. Like, I don't even realize how much content I consume, but because of, like, my life, which is just literally, like, record, edit, jiu-jitsu, dinner. That's all I do, So I actually watch a lot of like podcasts and stuff, but I watched this thing yesterday and the dude was talking about how the war between the United States and China is if we don't change how we manufacture things, or like if we don't change, like leverage the tariffs to bring manufacturing back to the United States, we've already lost. In the current state, China can literally just go like this, boop, and we have nothing because we don't manufacture anything. They make all of our stuff. So if like China really wanted to like, close the grip on us, all they have to do is just go, I think we're done with exports to the United States. And that's 90-something% of our pharmaceuticals. It's like, they make everything for us. And so all of a sudden we have nothing. Our economy collapses overnight. And, and they have nukes. We have nukes. So we're not going to go to like a live hot war against them. And so it's like the war of the current age in with these nuclear armed countries is economic. And in that case, I think that's why people underestimate why it's so important for the US dollar to remain the currency that is, all the, oil's traded on. What's that called? The reserve currency? Because it's the thing that's protecting us current state, where again, that's paper. That's something everybody kind of decides, all right, we'll use this for this. But like all the stuff that we need, they make it over there, So like that's what the tariffs are really about at the end of the day, I believe, is that like you do the tariffs to make it more inexpensive to manufacture here than to do it over there, which brings all the manufacturing back here, which protects us against being at the, inside of the vice grip of a foreign adversary that may at one point decide they want to crush our balls and starve us overnight. You know what I mean?
Oh, they will. Yeah. I mean, the switch is going to flip one of these days. But until it's boots on the ground, what's going to happen is they're going to systematically attack us by buying off our politicians, buying off our farmland, pushing legislation that's gay and against Second Amendment. They're trying to do anything that they can to weaken us from the outside before the boots on the ground gets here, because they know that pound for pound, boots on the ground, there's not a more formidable force than the Americans. I really do believe that. I do believe that our Second Amendment and And I believe what makes us special is Jesus Christ, actually, not just our own will to win. I literally believe our country is supernaturally protected by Jesus Christ because of the amount of Christians that we have. And true Christians, bro, they are ready to die. And I'm telling you, it would be my greatest honor to die in World War III. But what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to go die in Israel. I'm not going to go die in Pakistan. I'm not going to go die in Afghanistan. I'm not going to die in Iraq, Iran, Turkey, Armenia. I don't give a damn about dying in those countries. I'm waiting for the day I get to die in this country, and I can't wait to do it holding a 30-06 bolt action with the Leopold scope on it. That's what I'm telling y'all is coming. And when it happens, it's not persecution for me. It's a reward for all of my patience and all of my training. And now I get to actually have fun fighting evil. And that's what's coming. But, you know, don't be thinking that, oh, Bryce is scared of these communists invading. No, I'm not. I'm looking forward to it. I'm telling you what's going to happen, bro. We're being economically oppressed. We're already oppressed by our own government. Wait till our government starts getting shit on by other governments. You wait till the Chinese come over here, or
they're gonna have to wait until the big guy's out of office. Nobody's shitting on us now.
Well, the thing is, brother, is I really do think that we're gonna get. I had a dream. I just be honest with you. This is my dream, Jesse. I had a dream that all of our troops got deployed to the desert and over there in the Israel region, and they all got blown up. And I think that we're gonna get ambushed over there, and maybe not just directly ambushed in one big attack, but I think what I think is going to happen. But even if that doesn't happen, slowly over time, there's going to be so many Americans go over there and die for Israel that we're weakened. When Israel is established the way that Donald Trump is talking about, Iran is going to be so mad. And you know who backs Iran? Russia. You know who backs Russia? China. Okay, so I'm telling you, when these things happen, bro, when these countries all come together under the hatred of United States, that's something that we've never seen in our lifetime. And I really do think war is coming to this country. And I think if we go over there to mess around with Israel and invade it and kick out the Palestinians, and we'll end up killing them is what we'll do. A lot of innocent Palestinians will die if Trump has his way over there. And that's going to lay the groundwork for World War III.
I think what Trump was doing, this is my opinion. I mean, I don't know, but I think when Trump was saying that the United States will take over Palestine is I think he's just negotiating. I think basically every single thing that Trump is doing right now, where he's making these state, you know, he's like, hey, maybe we'll take Canada into the 51st state. And he's like, hey, let's buy, well, maybe not buy Greenland. I don't know about that one, but like, you know, where he's going to slap tariffs on Mexico. He's going to slap tariffs on Canada. And he's saying all like, and then he's calling Zelensky a terrorist. All of those things that people are like, this guy's an unhinged lunatic or whatever. He's, in my opinion, I think it's all negotiation. Like, I think that when he's talking about taking over Palestine, he's negotiating against Netanyahu. He wants a ceasefire. He doesn't want war there. And he's trying to negotiate where it's like, you know, because at the end of the day, he is a deal maker. Like the guy's, he's at the core of his being, he's a fighter and he's a deal maker. And now he is the most powerful person in the world. Most of the American presidents have been too worried about appeasing too many people to really actually leverage or use the leverage that they hold as the American president to do what they think is right. They're answering to too many people. You know, where he's like, no, I think we need to do this. And he's like, and by the way, we can do this one of two ways. You rely on us economically. Well, guess what? You know, you want it in our economy. Cool. Well, you can't have it unless you do this and you do this and you do this and you do this and you do this. So all of it, I think he is trying to basically remake the world. And all of these statements that he's making, including the one about Palestine, is all just negotiation to try to get deals in place that he thinks are important. And I think he's going to start big, and then it's going to kind of become, you know, he's doing like one thing at a time. Like, you know, first up, like, let's end the Ukraine war and let's figure that out. Then you like the Israel-Palestine, let's do that. You know, let's root out all these people that are the deep state, you know, swamp monsters. So let's get Doge in there. We'll fire all these creeps that are going to undermine everything we do. We'll get RFK. And by the way, Kash Patel got confirmed. So, everybody who's been in DC crossing their fingers that they weren't going to get indicted because, they've been running the government forever. That's out the window. All of their power's gone, dude. Like the entire system that we all watched rigged against the things that we think are important for all of those years. Like those motherfuckers are gone, dude. Kash Patel is the director of the FBI. Tulsi Gabbard's the head of the, director of national intelligence. RFK Jr. is in charge of a $1.7 trillion annual budget in human health services. And he's one of the number one people who's been, he's the number one targeted people by the pharmaceutical companies. He's their worst enemy. Fauci, if he didn't have a federal pardon, would be absolutely 100% going to get indicted. He's probably still going to at the state level. And it's like, it really is a complete remaking of the American government. And so I'm just kind of like, all I know, like what I was saying yesterday in one of my videos, I was like, all these people that are on the other side of me that think that this is the worst thing that's ever happened. It's like, dude, you can't do anything about it anyway. So why don't you just fucking relax? Just relax and let these guys work, let them do their thing and let's see what happens. Let Elon work, dude. Let him slash and burn these corrupt thieves that have been just raiding the tax base. And to your point, set USAID, all that stuff you were talking about, turn everybody, let's do this propaganda where it's like, hey, listen, you're 4-year-old. Let them decide what their gender is. Like all this nonsensical, insane stuff. All of it is intended to your point, weaken the country to where people don't know what's right, what's wrong. Like if you have to ask yourself, is it okay for me to say that I'm not comfortable with a 6'5" man with an intact erect penis pretending to be a girl on the college women's swim team and then changing in front of all of the girls and watching them change naked? I don't want to offend anybody and say that I don't like that. You're like, bro, you've lost the fucking plot. That's black and white, dude. That is wrong. And if you have to ask yourself whether or not you can say anything about that, then these motherfuckers already won. That's why I couldn't stand having those conversations. Every time someone would want to be like, listen, there is a difference biologically between women and men. And they're on my side of the conversation. I'm like, God, just don't even have this conversation, man. Everyone knows that. Okay. The second you have to start having that conversation, they've already won. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because you're talking to a demon. I mean, when you're talking to people that literally believe in changing their gender, you're actually talking to a demon. Like, I'm not saying that the person themselves is a demon, but they've got some type of demonic influence in them to really think that a boy can be a girl or a girl can be a boy. Dude, they've just turned their back on God so far that they hate God's creation. And it's like you said, it's not worth a conversation with them to explain to them, hey, a man is a man and a woman is a woman. You're wasting your breath. You're trying to share light to a demon. Demons reject light. They're dark beings. But I don't think that Trump is like malicious.
No, I don't.
I definitely don't. I don't think he's malicious. There's a lot of stuff that he's talking about that I'm not liking. The number one thing is going into Israel. The number two thing that I really hate that he does is just prop Elon Musk up. Elon Musk is the epitome of, I know you said that Doge is going to come and save us from all these criminals, from these criminals that stole from us. That Elon fits that description, bro. Like he is the criminal that's stealing from us. And now he's at the top of the food chain and he's supposed to be trying to make things more efficient. Dude, he's done everything he can to steal his way to the top. And I could go on for hours and hours, but I know these things. I don't just think that Elon Musk is evil. I know he's evil. The dude bears an upside down cross. So I have Jesus Christ in my heart. When I see somebody, and I wish you'd pull that picture up, Jesse, so that the listeners could actually see I'm not making this up. But as a Christian, when you see Elon Musk bear the upside down cross at a Halloween party, which Halloween is a witchcraft celebration anyways, you can rest assured.
Don't tell my kids, dude. They love them. Oh, I see it. I see it.
So, Jesse, what I'm telling you here today is not that I think that Elon Musk is evil. I'm telling you, I know he is, because I have discernment through the Holy Spirit. When a man bears an upside down cross, he is against my God, and so he is against me. and he'll do anything he can to destroy me, enslave me. It starts by making electric cars so you can turn them off. And then it goes, then a fake space program to tell people that, oh, space is real. And the firmament's fake. No, the firmament's real, Elon, and you know it. And then it goes into, hey, put this chip in your brain. Put this chip in your brain and I'll help you. I'm a doctor now. Not only am I a scientist that makes cars and rockets, I'm a doctor. Put this chip in your brain. I'm telling you, Jesse, I don't think that Elon Musk is evil. I know it with all my heart because he bears the upside down cross. I know who he serves.
I've never seen this picture before.
Well, I have.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm looking at it now. It's a Halloween costume in Ferris. I mean,
bro, it does not matter. He didn't make fun of Muslim gods. He didn't make fun of Jewish gods. He didn't make fun of Buddhist gods. He made fun of my God. I'm telling you, I know he's evil. He bore that upside down cross. And as a Christian, if you trust that man, then you're turning your back on God. So right now, all you Christians that heard what I just said, you right now that you know that Elon bears the upside down cross, you pick. You Christian, are you going to be lukewarm? Because God will spit lukewarm out his mouth. God wants hot or God wants cold. All you lukewarm Christians, God will spit you out his mouth. And right now, in the name of Jesus Christ, you pick Elon or you pick Jesus. You cannot and you will not pick both.
I spew you out, the lukewarm. It's my favorite. That's my favorite line from this movie, from this character right there. When he talks about, he's talking to Boss Tweed. When Boss Tweed comes back to him after he killed the other candidate, and he's like, "You murdered you," and he's like, "I spew you out because you were lukewarm." That's a great line, dude. Yep. On the thing Elon did, where they were like, "Oh, it's a Nazi salute," where he's like, "My heart goes out to you." He 1,000% did that on purpose just to troll those motherfuckers, though. You got to admit he's funny, dude. He did that to troll him for sure. Like he for sure knew the lefties were going to troll. They were going to freak out.
He has never, ever made me laugh, and I don't think he can because I see spiritual wickedness for what it is. I've done too much personal research on him for me to think that he's funny. He has like all these kids. His kids are gay.
Oh yeah, but he's like at least that part. That kid disowned him because he that kid thinks his dad is evil because he's against the trans agenda. He thinks his dad's the most transphobic kid or dude ever or whatever. Like that.
Right. And that's what happens when you abandon your son, Elon, and you don't raise your son. You hear my son right here. You see how present of a father I am. I don't even do an interview without my son by my side. I'm telling you, my son ain't going to be gay. My son ain't going to be a tranny. I know because I'm going to raise my son up in righteousness. And it tells us, the Bible does, a man who walks in his integrity, his children will be blessed. My children will be blessed based off of my own path of righteousness that I choose to follow God. Elon does not get the privilege of having a normal son because he is not a good father. He's a terrible father. He has 12 wives, all these kids. And here's another thing, Jesse, I
think he's got 13 babies' moms now, actually. I think there was the one that came out this week is 13.
Yeah, I think he's the most perverted, disgusting person I can possibly think of. And he just looks gross. And I mean, if you ever seen him with the shirt off, I seen a picture of him on the beach. I didn't look for it. I just see the pictures of him on the beach. And he's just a nasty looking person. Everything he does is nasty to me. And hey, I pray for Elon Musk. I don't want anything. And right now, in Jesus' name, I pray Elon Musk is blessed. And the Bible tells you that. It tells you in John. It tells you all throughout the Gospels. Return evil for good. I have not ever cursed Elon Musk or wished no harm upon him. I pray for him right now. In fact, like I just did. But I'm telling you, the dude is evil. He's against Christians. He's implementing the beginning of the mark of the beast, which the problem is most people don't even believe in the mark of the beast. And so they can't possibly see Elon as being the person who implements it. Well, not only do I know that the mark of the beast is real, I think it's going to be a person like Elon that implements it. It says that the Antichrist is going to be beloved. And no, Elon's not the Antichrist. He's just a false prophet. But anyways, it says that these things are going to be accepted. The mark of the beast is going to be sought after. People are going to be lining up saying, yeah, put the mark in my hand, put the mark in my hand. And that's what you see going on.
I hate your vision of the future. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I hate invading communists, and I really hate this version too. Let's hope none of that happens.
Jesse, there's going to be drones every time you go outside and go walk to your car, from your house to your car. There's going to be a drone follow you to work. There's going to be cameras everywhere. Guess what? The nail in the coffin is, Jesse. And I'm not a genius. I'm just telling you what's coming. And I'll tell you, Jesse, you want to know what's coming, brother? No more cash.
I actually agree with you on that.
No more cash. There's going to be cameras everywhere on you. And no more cash. They track everything you buy or sell. So when they decide to starve you out or put that mark of the beast in your head, you can't come to my farm and pay me cash for milk and eggs. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cash gives you privacy. They're going to make the currency digital so that they can track everything you do and stop everything that you do.
You know what's crazy about that, dude, though, that I've always thought about this is like, what if they really made all currency and the exchange of goods and services digital? Like, what happens if, like, we, as an example, completely real world example, haven't built out enough electrical infrastructure to replace oil, and we run out of oil, which is absolutely inevitably going to happen, or we got hit with an EMP or something, and all of a sudden you have no electrical ability to, like, exchange digital currency. You're like, so what? That's why I think it's really important that people have, like, physical precious metals, just because, like, you gotta have something, dude, that you can't. I just don't like the idea of relying on, like, these big organizations for everything. I'm very uncomfortable with the fact that I live in, like, the suburbs. I don't grow my own food, and I don't have, but I do have, I have lots of things that most people don't, but those are only, like, a little bit helpful versus, I don't know. It's just, I hope the infrastructure is always there, and I hope that it never, turns into a wild, wild west nightmare. But, I don't know. The entire world runs on oil, and it's a finite resource that's going to run out. And I've been saying this I've been literally talking about this for 17 years, and they just started talking about it on that TV show Landman, and now everyone's all, that is crazy. We are going to run out of oil. I'm like, I've been fucking talking about this for a long time. We're going to run out of oil. The entire society runs on it.
I really don't think that we are going to run out of oil, brother. I mean,
eventually we will, for sure, because it's a finite resource. Like, eventually we will.
Well, where do you think oil comes from?
I mean, there's, like, as far as I understand, some kind of, like, process where, like, fossil, like the compression.
And let me break it down. Let me stop you right there. That's why you think it's finite. You think you know where it comes from.
Again, I will reiterate my conversation from the beginning, which is, I don't know shit about anything. I just know what people tell me.
Yeah.
Hey, where oil comes from is fucking top of the list of things that I'm just repeating shit that I saw, like, in a book or on the internet. I have no fucking idea where any of it comes. I have no idea why, if you put this liquid into a combustion engine and then you press the gas, that it makes the car go. That shit makes no sense to me. I don't understand how it works at all, but I just say shit.
Well, the engines make a little bit of sense to me. You get compression in the cylinders, and that transfers to your.
Yeah, but why does oil going in there and then burning make the thing go? I don't understand that. I've never understood that.
It takes when gasoline ignites, it expands, and they have it expanding in a small cylinder, and it pushes that piston up, and so it creates mechanical energy. They're transferring thermal energy in the gasoline or whatever, heat energy. They're transferring it into mechanical energy. And I'm not an engine expert, but that makes sense to me. But here's why I want to tell you about the oil not being finite, is because they tried to tell us that it comes from fossilized remains of the dinosaurs. That's what they literally try to tell us. But Jesse, I don't think that's how oil is made. And by the way, did you know that things can be fossilized in a matter of like 10 or 20, 30 years? Did you know that?
I told you, I don't know anything.
Yeah, a boot. Yeah, you can literally like. There's fossilized boots from the 1950s. Like boots are turned to rock, and the boots are from.
Come on, let me look that shit up.
Yeah, dude. Fossilization does not take millions of years, Jesse. The planet ain't even been here for millions of years. Read the Bible in the genealogies. The world has been here for about 6,000 years, and it does not take long for things to fossilize at all. I'm just telling you that oil is as far as we know it and can tap into it, it's infinite. Now, I'm not saying, Jesse, that is a 100% correct statement, but I'm saying as far as our ability to extract the oil that is there, we will never run out of oil. I'm telling you.
I'm going to have you watch a documentary called The Crude Awakening, and you tell me what you think about that. Because, like, the reason that is so, like, aside from even the, like the sourcing of it, the scariest part of that for me was they show these like oil boom towns, like in Venezuela, like Venezuelan oil fields that are just like, there's just endless fucking oil. And then they, it's like, this is from 1952. And they're like, this is that now. And it's just rusted over. There's no oil left. None. It's gone. The entire town is gone. The people are gone. It's just nothing but wreckage and just barren land. Like they've sucked it all out. And then it's like, and they talk about how the oil that we had in like in the early 1900s all the way up till, a certain point was so shallow and easy to get to. And the reason why we have like the deep sea, whatever, that's, I don't know, 5,000 feet underwater is because the oil that we have to get to, it's harder and harder to get to because we've sucked up all the oil that's easier to get to. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'll send it to you. You can watch it, dude, and tell me what you think. Because it's like,
right.
It's about peak oil, how like there's going to be this moment where the demand for oil it's like there's the demand for oil and then the oil production. And then there's this thing called peak oil. And then all of a sudden it goes from like the way we've always, it's always been to like, boom, and prices spiked out of this universe, like super, super quick. And it just destroys the economy. Anyway, I'll send it to you. You can watch it. But after you watch that thing from Africa that I sent you, that'll blow your mind.
Oh yeah, that sounds sad. And the oil thing, it's interesting. I will watch it. And you know who would really want to convince you that oil is going to run out? If there's one group of people who would want you to be convinced that oil is going to run out, you know who it would be? In all likeliness, the people that sell it to you.
Oh, maybe, yeah. I mean,
they want to impose scarcity.
Oops, that's not what I meant to do.
And because if you can make this oil seem scarce, then you can make it controllable. And dude, I don't think
everything. I mean, that's the truth of everything. Like De Beers with the diamonds. That's wild, dude. That De Beers, that company has like just warehouses full of diamonds, and they just control that. They make it seem like they're super rare, and they're not at all.
They're not at all. Exactly. And so that's what I think is going on, Jesse. And with the amount of money that oil is worth, it's very easy to get one fake documentary going and say, "Oh, look at this abandoned oil mine from Venezuela." Well, they're not going to tell you that they just found oil easier to get to somewhere else, and that's a shit town, and so everybody left it because of the crime or whatever the reason is that everybody left that little town in that oil field. There could be other reasons that people abandoned that Venezuela mine.
Check it out. You'll just watch it. You'll see. You'll just be like, it's just the visual alone. You're like, what the fuck, man? It'll trip you out.
Well,
hey, I got to jump in 4 minutes. I just want to make sure I tell you that because I got to be at the thing at 6. But yeah, we should do this again though, dude, for sure.
I would love to, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love to, man.
We should do it at your ranch, and we can shoot at 350 yards. And
okay, we'll do that.
We can talk about flat Earth this time too, because that one I will definitely talk to you about. Since I told you I worked at a satellite company that we have all this. So the thing, I don't know if you and I have ever talked about it before. Well, it'll be like a preview for our next conversation. But so one of the things. I mean, I can't even believe I'm having a conversation about the Earth being round, but like one of the things that the first thing I would show you if we went to like Planet Labs is they have this, so all of the shit that we put up into space that gets into orbit and because it breaks, like the satellites have gas, I can't remember what the fuel source is. It has some kind of fuel source. Well, we're going to call it gasoline. It's not gasoline. It's some other thing, but like So because we can control where the satellites are looking. Satellites run out of gas. It's not like we're like, all right, hey, go gas them up. They just turn into dead space junk, it's just dead now.
Right.
And then they fly around and they smash into each other and just explode because they're orbiting at like 7,000 miles an hour or whatever.
17,500.
It's bananas.
That's faster than any bullet.
Yeah, they're going lightning and they smash. So anything that you put into orbit that is of any kind of value, like new satellites, they have to track where all of that junk is to make sure that it doesn't smash into the thing that you have up there. So they have this tool for tracking all of those things. It's fucking wild, dude. I mean, I don't have access to it anymore. I had to go through like wild security training before I did. But when I did have access to it, I used to play with it all the time. And it's crazy. It's like you have the view of Earth that everybody knows. But if you actually move back, like if you just move outside of it, there is a layer of space junk that literally surrounds the entire Earth. And you could see it with this tool. And it's like, it's hard to explain. It's wild. It's like people think of like Saturn rings. It's like, no. This is like a round blanket of trash that we put up there of just all these pieces of like space junk that have like, it's because, we've been doing it for what, I don't know, like 70 years or whatever, but
right.
But yeah, we'll definitely talk about that.
Yeah, because brother, 99% of what you said is incorrect, but that is the official narrative. I know that you were saying something that somebody else told you. And
well, in this case, I played with the stuff that would be hard to convince me otherwise. Did you see the thing about the guy, the guy who is the flat earther and the guy who is the well, I don't even know what you would call a person who believes the Earth's round, but and they agreed that they were going to go to Antarctica, and like the flat earthers all okay. If there really is a 24-hour day, then that means that the Earth really is round. And then they went down there, and then there was a 24-hour day, and he's like, "Fuck, I was wrong." Did you see that?
Right, and that guy also talks bad about Jesus Christ. I know who you're talking about. I forgot his name, but yeah, he's totally fraudulent. These guys are.
Do you think he's compromised?
I don't think. I know he is. He speaks blasphemies about my God. I can pull up the video where he contradicts the Bible word for word. So somebody who's teaching against the Bible, dude, it's a no-brainer for me. I don't have to think about it. I've got discernment. When somebody speaks blasphemies about the Bible, I already know they're lying. So when they make this fake flat earth video with CGI, I already know. But with the satellites, bro, we will have such a great conversation, and I'll be praying over that conversation that you can actually hear the words that I'm saying and consider that I might be right, because I know that I am. And when I tell you this stuff, I really am going to be looking forward to your reaction to it. But I don't think that you are. I don't think I'm smart, and I definitely don't think you're stupid. I just think that you have been.
I know I'm not smart.
I know I'm not either, but so don't ever think that. I just think you've been told the wrong information. I do believe satellites are made and they float on balloons. That's why when they crash to Earth, they're always on a balloon. But here's the last thing I want to end with, Jesse. Have you ever heard of sea level?
Sea level, yeah.
You know why they call it sea level?
Because it's the level of the ocean, sea, like even with the water.
Because the sea is always level. And I want you to think about that. The sea is always level. Level means straight. Level means flat. The water does not ever curve in a circle. You'll never see the water curve in a circle. They call it sea level because every example of the sea that you will ever see will always and is always level because water does not curve. So just remember, brother, the sea level is called sea level because the sea is level.
We will discuss this further, my dude.
All right, dude. I'm so much looking forward to it, brother. God bless you.
Man. Thank you for coming on, dude. We'll chat soon.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
Take care, man.
Later.